So recently in an interview, Linus Torvalds, the creator of Linux, revealed his favorite new hobby that he just picked up about a year ago, building guitar effects pedals, which I couldn't believe at first because if you look through my channel, it's essentially 5 channels rolled into one. Not only do I cover Linux content, but I also do educational videos involving circuits, robotics, and DIY guitar gear, including effects pedals. I even have a 3-part series showing everything you need to know to start building your own effects pedals. So I can't help but wonder, has Linus been watching my channel? I'm not sure, but if not, then I'd say that's one hell of a coincidence. But either way, I think his reasoning for getting into the hobby is extremely good, and more people should consider doing it for themselves. Not only is having different hobbies healthy, but learning electronics is an extremely valuable skill, and starting with guitar effects pedals is a great place to start. But there's one thing Linus said that isn't correct, so I wanted to spend a few minutes going over that as well. But before we get into the video, I should also mention that I've been designing my own effects pedals and just recently started selling PCBs for them. But I'll come back to this at the end of the video. Also, before we start, I've included the link to the full interview down in the video description. Alright, so let's watch it now.
But I want to actually switch gear completely. We've talked so much about software. Let's talk about hardware. So some people have really odd hobbies. Some people, for example, build their own pedals for string instruments. So can you talk a little bit about the effect pedal hobby that you have?
So the background to this very odd, specific question is that last Christmas I started doing guitar pedals for fun, which makes no sense because I have zero musical ability. I had never touched an electric guitar in my life, but I wanted to learn about electronics. And so I started doing guitar pedals, first as kits and then designing my own, and they're all horribly bad. And I actually don't want to encourage others to do that because it's completely pointless. All modern guitar pedals are all digital.
Alright, so that isn't actually correct. New analog gear is still being designed today and is still in high demand, and that's not going to change anytime soon. Now, I don't blame Linus for being wrong about this, since like he said, he doesn't play guitar himself, and he just got into building pedals about a year ago. So he probably formed his opinion based off of what someone else said, and there's a lot of misinformation online about this. The reality is, analog and digital gear are different tools for different jobs. They both have their pros and cons, and many guitarists, including myself, use both. Now, the benefit of going with a pure digital rig is simply for convenience. Being able to have access to hundreds of different effects and amplifier simulations in a small little box is super convenient, both for hobbyists at home and for touring musicians who don't want to lug around heavy amplifiers and pedal boards. Going pure digital also helps the sound guys at venues since it's easier to plug in a cable from a board than to mic up a real amp. But just because digital is more convenient doesn't mean it sounds better. The reality is, digital is simply an estimation. Digital rigs are attempting to emulate what analog gear and tube amps do, but they'll never be an exact copy. Analog gear sounds better, feels better for the player, and is more enjoyable. This is why the majority of professional guitarists are still using tube amps and analog gear. And if you don't agree with this statement, well, you can verify it yourself. Premier Guitar is a YouTube channel that interviews guitarists on stage a few hours before one of their gigs, and the focus of the interview is to talk about the gear that they're using. As a guitarist myself, I've seen a lot of these interviews, and I can assure you the majority of guitarists today are still using analog gear. Also, I've personally been to a lot of shows at small and medium-sized venues where I have the opportunity to get up close and personal to see what sort of gear they're using, and I've noticed the same trend. So in other words, if small indie bands are still lugging around their tube amps, all the way up to guitar legends such as Marty Friedman and John Five, well, there's good reasons for that, and I think I'd trust what they do more than what some angry Reddit or YouTube commenter says. Sorry for the snark, but it amazes me how toxic some people can be over this. Yes, it's true that modern digital rigs sound good enough in many cases, and if that's what works for you, then great, keep doing it. But the point is, good enough doesn't always cut it. So, analog gear isn't going away anytime soon. And my bigger point here is that building your own effects pedals is not pointless. In fact, if you're a guitarist, I highly recommend doing it because you'll save a ton of money in the long run. But I'll come back to this at the end of the video. Let's now listen to the rest of what Linus said because I think this is important stuff to think about.
But I did it because when you have, and this is something I do encourage people to do, when you have a stressful job that is high stakes and you feel like you need to do something else to relax, you should find a hobby where failure is not only expected, but it's actually fun, right? And it doesn't have to be guitar pedals, it can be anything. For me, it happened to be soldering and making hardware where I knew I was completely incompetent and I actually enjoyed it. Some people think that failure is a bad thing, and I happen to be one of those people who actually enjoy doing things I'm not good at because it's how you learn. And then you really need to expect to fail. And I've been at it for a year and I still haven't learned.
I completely agree with Linus's point about failure. It's healthy to experience failure, and it's pretty much unavoidable if you're trying to learn anything that's worth learning. I'd also like to add that failure is humbling. And to be perfectly honest, I think this is something that a lot of people are desperately lacking. And worst of all are the people who have the "I'm too smart to learn anything" mentality. And it's kind of frightening how many of these people get into management and leadership positions. But anyway, let's keep watching.
I disagree. I have some of your pedals and they're getting a lot better.
But it's something I would encourage anybody in this industry because it can get kind of stressful sometimes, especially if you're in open source. At least for me, the most stressful part tends to be people. I don't find the technology stressful, but sometimes when you have disagreements and you really say, I want to take a break and I need to do something completely different, that's when you want to have a hobby or something where you can just say, hey, this has nothing whatsoever to do with my job, and failing is fine. And for me, it was electronics.
This is another good point. It's good to have different hobbies to help relieve stress from work. This can also improve both physical and mental health, and make you a more well-rounded person. But let's continue.
And I think there is this interesting difference between comparatively very simple electronics and the single most complex open source project out there. So this difference is just fascinating to me.
Yeah, my electronics journey has actually gone backwards. So I started doing like slightly fancier circuits with integrated circuits, and then I started going backwards to the point where now I'm playing with actually understanding how a single transistor works. And my real job is working with hundreds of billions of transistors, and my pet hobby is working with 3. So that's kind of my 2 extremes when it comes to hardware.
This is also a good point, and I feel like Linus wanted to expand on it more, but he didn't. If you truly want to understand how something works, then you need to break it down to its smallest components. Unfortunately, many programmers today don't really understand how computers work at a fundamental level, or the second level, or even the third level. For example, unless someone has studied computer architecture extensively, then they don't really understand concepts such as instruction sets, memory hierarchy and caching, prefetching, and much more. Then we can go down to the next level. Here we have things such as digital logic gates, Boolean expressions, and Karnaugh maps, which is stuff that most computer science students don't really study. And then if we take it down to the lowest level where the transistors are, now we're dealing with extremely complex electrical engineering problems which are an extension of physics and electromagnetism. Engineering is really just applied science, including physics, chemistry, biology, and using mathematics to describe the relationships that occur in nature in order to manipulate it to our will. That's the major distinction between coders and engineers. So kudos to Linus for taking the time and effort to learn the fundamentals that most coders take for granted. Of course, some people might argue that coders don't need to learn these things, which is true if you want to paint yourself into a corner and trap yourself in an intellectual bubble. Having more general knowledge about how things work can actually help you create more novel solutions to coding tasks as well. So, with that said, if you're curious to learn the basics of electrical engineering, you should definitely check out my Practical Electronics and Circuits 101 playlist. Each video covers a different topic, and I even have one on transistors. But now let's finish the clip and then I'll give my final thoughts.
But I think this is an interesting glimpse into, what does Linus do all day? You said earlier you don't write software anymore, you're a manager. Yeah. We now learned that you play with relatively simple hardware. But what should we think that you do all day?
Realistically, I sit in front of the computer and read email all day long. I don't answer email. So if you send me email, I can almost guarantee you that I will read it, but I can also almost guarantee you that I will not answer it. It's very rare that I answer email. And that I kind of want to apologize, not just to all the people who have sent me email, but also to developers who only see my complaining side. A lot of people think I'm an angry, bitter old man because honestly, on the kinds of emails I respond to tend to be about the problems that happen. And when everything goes well, which is actually the huge majority of the time, I don't send out these emails saying, thank you, that worked really well. And so if you don't get that email from me, I'm still happy. I just don't let people know so much. And I apologize.
I think that is a great moment to stop on the message that Linus is an incredibly nice guy who just keeps it inside. So
inside, I'm really happy. It's just my outside persona, not always.
Well, that was really kind of Linus to say. It seems like he's been lightening up a bit, which is great. It turns out Linus is a nice guy after all. So I think the takeaway here is that everyone needs hobbies, and it can be anything. Well, not anything. Like, watching movies or playing video games all day isn't a hobby. That's entertainment. And don't get me wrong, I enjoy movies and playing games as well. But I think learning a musical instrument or learning how to solder and working on projects is much more fulfilling. And not just that, but learning these skills can pay off in the long run. For example, many broken TVs and monitors are relatively easy to fix. In a lot of cases, they simply need a few capacitors replaced, which is totally doable if you know how to solder. And if this is something you want to learn, then building guitar pedals is an excellent place to start. And like I said earlier, if you actually plan to use the pedals, then you'll be saving yourself a ton of money. So, if Linus and I have convinced you to join the DIY revolution, then the perfect place to start is by watching my DIY guitar gear playlist. The first 3 videos show you everything you need to know to get started and also includes a short tutorial on soldering. Also consider grabbing some of my custom designed PCBs, which not only makes the build process easier, but also makes it more reliable and durable. Right now I have a unique parallel overdrive, a killer fuzz circuit, and a transparent clean boost. You can't find these anywhere else, and I'm particularly proud of the overdrive and fuzz circuits. They sound awesome, are easy to work with, and the prices are extremely reasonable. If you want to hear more of how they sound, I've included links in the description, and I'm planning to make more videos on them soon. And after you get your toes wet in some DIY projects, be sure to check out some of my other playlists. In addition to the Electronics 101 playlist, I also have a great Raspberry Pi playlist that focuses on robotics projects. So if you have the motivation to learn some real engineering, be sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and stay tuned for more projects. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.